Okay, welcome to this lesson in Maya 7. Okay, last video I think I said to you we're going to talk about shape types and maybe get into a bit of animation. So that's what we'll do. If you go to the modelling tab up here and select modelling and go to surface tab along here, these surfaces are what's called NURBS, and there's a difference between NURBS and the other type, which are polygon. If we click that tab, you can see polygons are made up of surfaces, whereas NURBS is like the vector of the 3D world. It's very simple, but it's quite powerful. Gives you very smooth shapes with very little memory resources used. Whereas doing a circle as a polygon requires a lot more faces to create the polygon shape. If I create one here, you'll see. If you look at this, just zoom into the top section here, you'll see all those little grids there, those little patches are actually points, whereas look at the NURBS. Was a circle, we made it an ellipse, we squashed it, but you can see it's a lot simpler. So in general, if you can make everything out of NURBS, it's the best thing to do. I mean, in reality, when Maya outputs, it will actually convert NURBS to polygons anyway. So, and you can actually convert it once you've created your model. You can actually convert it to polygons anyway, or subdivisions. We'll be talking about all the different types later, but all you need to know is that resource-wise, NURBS are great because they use very little. So if you've got things like circles, then you really want to create it as a NURB and not as a polygon. So that's kind of it for now. We will be talking more about this when we need to, but at the moment that's all you kind of need to know. Right, so I'm just going to delete this one now. So you can select it and just press the delete key on your keyboard. And we're going to do a little bit of animation now. We're going to select the object. I'm actually going to get rid of this square because it's just going to confuse the matter. And I've got my object there. Now if you come down the bottom here, you should see a keyframe line. It's actually a timeline. And if we flick the modelling tab, the tab up here to animation, then if that's not open, you should be able to flick it open. Yeah, it should always be open anyway. If you go to Animate tab along here, you'll see that there's a few options in here. We'll be picking the shortcuts, but one to remember is Set Key, and that is using character S on your keyboard. So we've got a line here, 1 to 24. If you come down here, this shows this is running at I can't set it to be different, but it's running to 24 frames a second. This is a second of animation, which will render out 24 separate frames. So we can change this. If I wanted to make it 48, I could enter 48 in there, and I would get 48 appear here. But for convenience sake, we'll leave it at 24. So right, from this point to this point, I'm going to want this object to move there, like that. As simple as that. So I come down there, select the first frame, and I press S on my keyboard. Now remember, I selected the object, but everything that you select in Maya can be animated independently of each other. So you have to be careful that you select the right thing. If I wanted to make the light move with it, I would select the object and I would shift and hold the light object, and then I would put a keyframe in there. But I don't want to do that. I just want the light to remain static. And if you look down here, it's put a little red line. That's a key light. That's the keyframe that's been marked. So now I go along to 24, click the last frame, drag the object where I want it to move to, and I hit the S button again to create the keyframe. Now, if we come over here and we play, I'm just going to flick the perspective window up. Oh, something went wrong there. That's better. And I play it. These are the play controls down here, you'll see it moves across. So in the 1 second, it's going a bit slow, but that is 1 second, believe me. So that's it, that's simple animation. Notice though, if I click off the object, the keyframes disappear. And let me just move the light as well. Let me set a keyframe for the light moving, just to show you that all sorts of things can be done. Press S, set the frame. Move the object over here and rotate the object like that, then set a keyframe. Now watch, the light will also move with it. Clearer to see it on this frame. I go to 1 again. So there you go, simple animation there. To output this, you would go up to the options, and now we've got 24 frames, so it's very important that you note the frames that you've got. So we want the animation options box to appear eventually, and we'll set this to name number, which is what the hash stands for, dot extension. So now it gives you this option open: starting frame 1, end frame is 10, we need it to be 24. Frame padding 1 frame, by frame 1 frame, so you could do like by 2 frames it would go 1, 3, 5, etc. Or frame padding, you can set that to extend features as well. We don't need to go into that. So image format, JPEG, name, lesson underscore. Okay, close that off. So that's going to output now JPEGs. You also see in that box there was AVI. You could output this as an AVI file as well. So actually, to render it, we select this tab, go down to rendering and go render, and then you hit the batch render, and that will render those 24 frames out for you relatively quickly, because there isn't much going on there really. So that will render out. In the next lesson I'll show you where the files are kept, which we briefly covered. So I'll just show you the rendered output rather than wait around for this to finish the rendering. Okay, have fun, try different renderings with the knowledge that you know so far, and we'll move on to the next stage of the lessons. See you later.